I know why so many booktubers now do book hauls all the time. It's because one, they're easy to film, and two, what book collector stops buying books? See? Sarah likes books too. Oh, please don't knock it over. Since my last book haul in, what was that, July, I have got 16 new books to share with you. Ooh, this is a good workout. Okay, how do I put these books down? Oh my god. Yikes, I'm gonna feel that in my arms later. So let's get into it. I don't actually know what the first one I bought was, so we'll just go in whatever order we have. The first book is Hell Followed With Us. I bought this book because of the cover. I just think it's so stunning. Like, how cool is this? With the like little eyes on the wings, and I don't know, I absolutely love it. And the back reads, "Prepare to die, his kingdom is near." 16-year-old trans boy Benji is on the run from the cult that raised him, the fundamentalist sect that unleashed Armageddon and decimated the world's population. Desperately, he searches for a place where the cult can't get their hands on him, or more importantly, on the deadly bioweapon they infected him with. When Benji is rescued by a ragtag group of teens from the local Ashisun LGBTQ+ center, affectionately known as the ALC, they offer him shelter as long as he can control the monster within and use his power to defend them. Their leader Nick is gorgeous, autistic, and a deadly shot, and Benji soon discovers that he has a hidden agenda and more than a few secrets of his own. Like, what? This sounds so cool. It's like right up my alley with like the apocalyptic vibe to it and a cult that they're running away from and super monster powers. I don't know, this just sounds super cool. I haven't heard anybody talking about it, but I'm very excited to read it at some point. The next book is Malibu Rising. So I have never read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book. What? This one I found in a little library in my area, which excited me because I don't think I would ever buy a Taylor Jenkins Reid book on my own. What the fuck? I'm just not, like I've said in past videos, I'm not a huge literary fiction type person, and it seems like she exclusively writes literary fiction, so it's not really ever something that I would prioritize buying, but since there was a free copy in a little library, I picked it up. This one is about 4 siblings who throw like a party and some stuff goes down. I don't really know what it's gonna be about, but it's about this like one night with these 4 siblings and this like crazy party that they throw. Who knows when I'll actually get to that, but I have a Taylor Jenkins Reid book now. I can read it, you know, whenever. The next book in front of me is called Sorry Bro. This I'm actually currently reading right now. It was kind of an impulse buy. I really like the cover. It's really pretty, and I'm always down for a sapphic romance. This one is about a reporter named Nare who she kind of like goes on a break with her boyfriend after he proposed to her, and she felt very anxious about it instead of happy. And then she agrees to let her mom kind of set her up with Armenian men because that's what her mom has always wanted. So she starts going to this like month-long convention called Explore Armenia, which is a month-long series of events in the city. This takes place in San Francisco. And then she meets this woman named Erubuni. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. But yeah, Erubuni is like this woman with kind of like a witchy vibe, but she's like super successful and she's one of the board members of the Explore Armenia. So I'm not that far into it yet. I'm only about 74 pages in, but it's pretty interesting so far. I'm sure you'll see an update for it whenever I finish reading it. The next book in front of me is We Have Always Lived in the Castle. I have heard great things about this through BookTube. It's about those like sisters who live in this kind of castle. I mean, I don't think it's actually a castle. It's just like this spooky house that people stay away from, and they really don't like these sisters, so it's kind of about their like relationship and growing up in this town. I think the cover is really cute, although like I don't super love the penguin that's just on it. I know it's because it's from Penguin Classics, but that's kind of like random, but otherwise it's like pretty cute with like all the mushrooms and the cat. And it's a super short book, so maybe I'll read this year to like catch up because I'm currently very behind on my number goal. The next books I bought, which I'm very excited about, are the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I absolutely love these covers also. Jesus, they're slipping. Like, look how cool these editions are. I just love it. So I actually read Lord of the Rings when I was younger. It was after the first movie came out and I absolutely loved it, and I was really obsessed with Legolas. So I wanted to read more. So my mom got me it was actually the full book, like in one. It was like the full Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I read it, but I lost that copy of it. So I really wanted to like get my own copy for a long time now, and the bookstore that I go to finally had the like full edition of these versions, and I just think the cover art is so cool that I bought them when I was a little tipsy. So yeah, I would say I make great decisions when I'm drunk. The next two books that I got were also from little libraries in my area. So I have Memoirs of a Geisha and The Girl on the Train. I know The Girl on the Train is this like thriller novel about a girl on the train who I think somebody sees go missing or something like that. I feel like there's supposed to be a book sleeve for this because there's no like little blurb on any part of this book. So I think there was supposed to be like a sleeve for this that the person just didn't include when they dropped it off at the little library. But from what I recall, and I know that there was a movie made about this, it's about a girl who like goes missing on a train and this person who becomes obsessed with it. And I like a good thriller every now and then. I don't think I ever would have bought this book in a store, but because it was free, I picked it up. And then Memoirs of a Geisha, I love the movie that was made years ago for this, and I've always kind of wanted to read the book, and it was there and free, so I picked it up. And I think that this cover is also like very pretty. The next book that I have is Scythe. I've heard great things about this book, especially the sequel, which I think is very rare because usually sequels are worse than the first book. So everybody seems to love this series. I absolutely love the cover art. I think it's so cool. Scythes are like one of my favorite kind of like, not weapon choices, but I just like really love the aesthetic of, you know, the Grim Reaper and like scythes and stuff like that. And this is about, it's like this world where there's like no death really, except for these people who, they're called scythes, and it's like they are basically the ones who go around and kill people when it's their time or they're chosen to like move on. And these two teenagers get chosen to be like apprentices for scythes, and they don't really want it. So it's all about like, I guess, what they go through and trying to be in this role that they don't want. I wanted to buy this one for a very long time, and I got a gift card for the bookstore that I go to all the time, so I used it to buy this. And honestly, most of the books that are here, which is why I have so many, because I have an irresponsible amount of money to buy books with. All right. The next book I have is House of Hollow, which this is another very popular one on BookTube from what I've seen. It's about these three sisters who live in this house and where they went missing in it like a long time ago, and they came back and they don't have any recollection of it. In the future, one of them goes missing again. From what I've heard, this is like a earthy gothic book, so it's got a lot of like plant horror in it, which I love that vibe. I mean, I love any kind of gothic story, so I'm pretty excited to read this one at some point. Probably not this Halloween because I am going to Ireland over the month of October, so I'm sure I won't have a lot of reading time for it, but I would like to read this at some point in the near future. Speaking of Ireland, actually, let's do this one. Irish Gothic Fairy Stories, which I picked up in a bookstore that I've actually never gone to before. I went to maybe a month or so ago, and it was one of the coolest bookstores I've ever been in. They had like such elaborate sections, books on writing, books on classics, like any type of genre you could think of, they had a section for. And one of their sections was mythology, and they had like every book you could possibly think of, from like epic poems to like different cultures like mythologies. And since I'm going to Ireland in October, I thought this was like the perfect book to buy to like kind of prepare for it, because not only will it be fun to read about the traditional like Gothic Irish fairy stories, but I am also writing a book about the fairy world, and I'm always looking for books that I can get inspiration for different creatures from. I've actually already started reading this, and I'm trying to do a little reading vlog for it, so hopefully you'll see that before I leave for Ireland and you can kind of learn about some Irish mythology with me. The next book I have is Sing Me to Sleep. Now, Gabby Burton is actually a Twitter or X mutual of mine, and she recently came out with this book this past summer. We're not like close Twitter friends at all or anything, but I remember when she was querying this book, and then she got like a huge deal for it, which I was really excited for her about, and I kind of asked her about like her process with querying, getting beta readers and all of that stuff. So I'm just like so happy to be holding this book now from her, which I think it looks absolutely stunning. Like, look at this cover art. And the book is about this Siren as a soldier in training at the most prestigious barracks in the kingdom. Oh god, this name. Sari? I don't know how to say this name, oh god. I really should look up the pronunciation of these things before I start speaking so I don't sound like an idiot, but here we are. Editing Gabby here. My attempts to pronounce this name were so bad that I had to correct myself. The way to say this is Saoirse. Who would guess that? Saoirse. Anyway, have fun watching me mess this up for the next couple minutes. I'm just gonna say Sari for right now. Sari. I don't know. She lies about being a siren to avoid execution. At night, working as an assassin for a dangerous group of mercenaries, she lies around her true identity. And to her family, Cersei tells the biggest lie of all, that she can control her siren powers and doesn't struggle constantly against an impulse to kill. As the top trainee in her class, Sari would be headed for a bright future if it weren't for the need to keep her secret out of the spotlight. But when a mysterious blackmailer threatens her sister, Sari takes a dangerous job that will help her investigate. She becomes a personal bodyguard to the crown prince. She should hate Prince Haynes. Nope. Haynes, that's underwear. Oh my god. She should hate Prince Hayes. After all, his father... Jesus Christ. She should hate the prince. After all, his father is the one who enforces the kingdom's brutal creature segregation laws. But when Hayes turns out to be kind, thoughtful, and charming, Sari finds herself increasingly drawn to him, especially when they're forced to work together to stop a deadly killer who's plaguing the city. There's only one problem. She is that deadly killer. Oof, what a cool concept. Yeah, so I'm really excited to read this book at some point because it's kind of by someone I know, and I'm very happy for her, and I hope that this is a great success. Plus, we share a name. Different nickname spelling, but... The next book is The Foxglove King. This is my most recent buy. I have wanted to buy this book for a long time, and I actually wanted to buy it so badly that as soon as I bought it, I was afraid that I had already bought it, and I got this like really crazy like feeling of deja vu. I did not double buy this book, but my like desire to buy it must have been so strong that I thought I did before. Anyway, I've gotten to the point in my book collection where I can't keep track of the books that I buy anymore, apparently. So first off, this cover, again, absolutely stunning. And the inside cover actually is also stunning. Look how pretty that is, oh my god. And it's got the serrated like page edges. It's just super cool. So I, so far, love Hannah Witten as a writer. This is her latest release. I read For the Wolf. It should probably be considered one of my favorite books. It's kind of an honorary mention on my list of favorite books because of reasons that I might talk about sometime in the future, but I absolutely love For the Wolf. And For the Throne was okay. I didn't love it as a sequel, but it was still good. I love her writing though, so I wanted to pick this book up for a while. Fleur has been living by her wits since she was a child, running poisons for the cartel that took her in, avoiding the attention of law and keeping her affinity for death magic a secret. Ooh, death magic, fun. When a job goes wrong and Fleur is captured by the sainted king's warrior monks, she expects a pyre, but King August has a different plan. Entire villages on the outskirts of the country have been dying overnight, seemingly at random. Fleur can either use her magic to find out what's happening or die, and the king suspects his arrogant, handsome heir is behind it. Thrust into a lavish court where no one can be believed and even fewer can be trusted, Fleur must navigate an intricate web of politics, religion, and forbidden romance and solve the king's mystery, a mystery more dangerous and twisted than Fleur can even imagine. Interesting. I knew it was about something magic related, but I probably read the synopsis a long time ago and was interested and then just forgot about it until right now, so we got to read that together. Gosh, this book is so pretty. Ooh, look at the chapter heads. So gorgeous. I love it when a book is like very beautifully crafted. So the last book I have to talk about today is Vampires of El Norte. This is by Isabel Canas. I know her first book, The Hacineda, is kind of acquainted to a cross between Rebecca and Mexican Gothic, which Mexican Gothic is one of my favorite books of all time. So I've been pretty excited to read Isabel's work for a while. This is about, as the daughter of a rancher in 1840s Mexico, Nina knows a thing or two about monsters. Her home has long been threatened by tensions with Anglo settlers from the north, but something more sinister lurks near the ranch at night. Something that drains men of their blood and leaves them for dead. Something that once attacked Nina 9 years ago. Believing Nina dead, Nestor has been on the run from his grief ever since. moving from ranch to ranch working as a vaquero. But no amount of drink can dispel the night terrors of Sharp Teeth. No woman can erase his childhood sweetheart from his mind. When the United States invades Mexico in 1846, the two are brought abruptly together on the road to war. Nina as a curandera, a healer striving to prove her worth to her father so that he does not marry her off to a stranger, and Nestor as a member of the auxiliary cavalry of ranchers and vaqueros. But the shock of their reunion and Nina's rage at Nestor for seemingly abandoning her long ago is quickly overshadowed by the appearance of a nightmare made flesh. And unless Nina and Nestor work through their past and face the future together, neither will survive to see the dawn. It's been a long time since I've read a good vampire story. This was one of the August Book of the Month's choices, which I immediately picked up because I love a good vampire story, and I think it's really cool that this is set in a historical Mexico, so I'm excited to see what it has in store. Well, yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.